My husband claimed a 2-year Toronto job required his relocation. I wept as I watched him leave. But the instant I walked through the door, I drained the full $650,000 from our shared savings and filed for divorce. Can you imagine dedicating 5 years of your life, your heart, and every single penny you earned, only to discover your husband was orchestrating a horrifying, calculated scam against you the entire time? I stood at O'Hare International Airport, my vision blurred with tears, waving goodbye to the man I loved, completely unaware that he was also waving goodbye to our marriage, our life savings, and my entire future, with another woman by his side. The terminal buzzed around me, a chaotic symphony of farewells and new beginnings, but all I could hear was the frantic pounding of my own heart. Mark held my hand so tightly, and the tears just wouldn't stop. "Mark," my voice cracked, "do you really have to be gone for 2 whole years?" He gently wiped my cheeks, his own voice tinged with a reluctance that, looking back, was a masterful performance. "Hannah, you know how important this project is for my career. 2 years will fly by. I'll video call you all the time, but I'll miss you." I buried my face in his chest, clinging to him. He patted my back. "Silly girl. I'll miss you too, but this is a huge opportunity for our future. When I come back, we'll finally have enough money for a down payment on a house in a good neighborhood." The boarding announcement echoed through the hall, a chilling countdown I didn't recognize then. He kissed my forehead. "Wait for me." I stood frozen, watching his back disappear through security, until the tears truly consumed my sight. Travelers hurried past, oblivious to the weeping woman dissolving into a puddle of grief. I wiped my eyes, took a shaky breath, and turned to leave. In the Uber, the familiar Chicago streets blurred. The driver glanced at me. "Seeing someone off?" I just nodded. "Must be a boyfriend or husband, seeing you so upset." "My husband," I whispered. He sighed. "It's tough for young couples these days, having to live apart for work. But don't you worry, a good man always comes back." I managed a faint, empty smile. The condo felt hollow when I walked in. The silence screamed. His slippers, still by the door, were a cruel reminder. A bitter, mirthless laugh escaped me. I kicked off my heels, sank onto the sofa, and pulled out my phone. Our joint account balance glowed, $650,482.17. 5 years of our life. My entire salary, direct deposited every month. Mark said it was better for financial management. I never questioned it. I trusted him. I trusted us. Until 3 days ago. I'd left work early, hoping to surprise Mark. As I approached our building, I saw him walking out of a cafe. With another woman. Her arm was linked through his. They were laughing, intimate. My world stopped. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Mark didn't see me. He walked her to a cab, and before she got in, he leaned down and kissed her. On the cheek? No, it was more. My heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice. The pain was so sharp, so sudden, it was hard to breathe. I hid behind a huge oak tree, watching the cab drive off. Then Mark turned and walked back towards our building, whistling. I didn't confront him. Not then. I took the long way home, my mind a whirlwind of agony and disbelief. That night, Mark walked in, perfectly normal. "Hannah, sorry, late meeting at the office. Have you eaten?" He kissed my cheek, casual, as if nothing had changed. I fought the urge to recoil. "I ate already," I said, forcing a smile. "Saved you a plate in the oven. You're the best, babe." He beamed, heading to the kitchen. I watched his back, and he felt like a complete stranger. After dinner, he brought it up, as if an afterthought. "Oh, by the way, Hannah, the company has a big project in Toronto. They want me to lead it. I might have to be there for 2 years." My hand trembled, nearly knocking over my glass. 2 years? That's so long. His eyes gleamed with excitement. "Yeah, it's long-term, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. My boss said if I pull this off, I'm guaranteed VP when I get back." "Then what about me?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He wrapped his arms around me. You just keep working here. I'll send you money for living expenses every month. 2 years will be over before you know it. When I get back, we'll be set for life. I leaned against his shoulder, closing my eyes. Tears silently traced paths down my cheeks. In that moment, I understood everything. He wasn't going to Toronto for a project. He was going to be with that woman. The work assignment? An elaborate, cruel lie. The next day, I took a personal day. I needed answers, cold, hard facts. I hired a private investigator, Kevin Vance, recommended by a college friend. He was in his late 30s, professional, reliable. So, Miss Miller, what can I help you investigate? He asked across the coffee shop table. I told him everything. The street, the cafe, the kiss. He nodded. In situations like this, if there's infidelity, there's usually a trail. Give me a week. I'll get you a full report. As I stood to leave, Kevin called after me. Miss Miller, sometimes the truth can be harsh. Are you prepared for what you might find? I gave him a weak smile. No matter how harsh, I need to know. For the next few days, I lived a lie. I went to work, came home, cooked dinner, we chatted about our day. On the surface, we were the same loving couple, but my heart was dead. Mark was buzzing with excitement, booking flights, packing, arranging his visa. He was completely absorbed in his new life, utterly oblivious to the growing chasm between us. A week later, Kevin met me again. He handed me a thick manila envelope. Miss Miller, here's the report. I took a deep breath. Inside was a stack of photos and documents. Every single picture was a knife in my heart. Mark and the woman, holding hands on Michigan Avenue. Mark and the woman checking into the Thompson Hotel. Dining intimately. My hands shook so violently I could barely hold them steady. Kevin's voice seemed to come from a distance. Her name is Claire Sutton. New director of marketing at your husband's company. They started seeing each other 3 months ago. My blood ran cold. According to my investigation, your husband is indeed going to Toronto, but not for a business trip. He and Miss Sutton are immigrating. He's already purchased a condo there, and the down payment was made with money from your joint account. The world spun. Are you all right? Can I get you some water? Kevin asked, concerned. I waved a hand, forcing myself to calm down, to read. The file included screenshots of their text messages. Asterisk Claire, just a little longer. Once I get Hannah settled, we can finally be together in the open. Asterisk Mark, I'm waiting for you, darling. Besides, you've already moved most of the money from the joint account. She's just a woman. What can she do? Asterisk Claire, that's true. Her entire salary has gone into that account for years. I've been investing it. She has very little personal savings. She won't be able to do much of anything after the divorce. Asterisk Mark, so when are you going to break it to her? Asterisk Claire, no need. I'll go to Toronto first. After 6 months, I'll tell her I met someone else there and want a divorce. That way she won't make a scene. Since I'm the one initiating it, she'll look petty if she fights it. Asterisk Mark, you've thought of everything. So, when do we start decorating our place in Toronto? Asterisk Claire, as soon as I get there, don't worry. We're going to have a wonderful life. Asterisk I closed the file, shut my eyes, and took a long, shuddering breath. 5 years of marriage. It was all a meticulously planned, horrifying scam. Miss Miller, what do you plan to do? Kevin asked, handing me water. I opened my eyes. My gaze now was firm, cold. I'm going to transfer every penny out of that joint account. Is that legal? He asked. It's a joint account. I have the right to access the funds, I said with a chilling laugh. Besides, most of that money came from my salary. He thinks I'm a fool who will just sit here and wait for him to come back and dump me. He's dreaming. Kevin nodded. I understand. If you need legal assistance, I can recommend an excellent lawyer. Thank you. I do. Leaving the coffee shop, I didn't go home. I went straight to the bank. The teller looked surprised at the amount. "Ma'am, this is a substantial sum. Are you sure you want to transfer the entire balance?" "I'm sure. To my personal account." I typed in my PIN, watched the screen flash. Transfer successful. A wave of dizzying relief washed over me. $650,000. All mine. It was what I deserved. My blood, sweat, and tears from the last 5 years. When I got home, Mark wasn't back. I sat on the sofa, piecing together the last 5 years. We met through a mutual friend. I was fresh out of college, working as a copywriter. He was 3 years older, a project manager, mature, stable, charming. He pursued me relentlessly, flowers, gifts, picking me up from work. He said he felt for me the moment he saw me, that I was the most genuine person he'd ever met. I was swept off my feet. A year later, we were married. The wedding wasn't extravagant, but it was warm. I thought I'd found my forever. Our married life seemed happy. Mark was good to me. Dinner every night, weekends out. I thought this was what marriage was. But looking back now, so many details were wrong. He insisted I deposit my salary into our joint account for financial planning. But I never saw a single statement. He came home late. Working. But when I called, I'd hear loud background noise, a bar, a restaurant. He was indifferent to my family, always too busy for my parents, but never for his friends. I told myself he was stressed. An introvert. I made 1,000 excuses to convince myself our marriage was happy. Looking back now, I was a complete joke. At 8 p.m., Mark came home. "Hannah, I'm back." He kissed my cheek. I suppressed a shudder. "You're back. Did you eat?" "Yeah, a team dinner," he said, taking off his jacket. "By the way, I leave the day after tomorrow. Just have to wrap some things up." "So soon?" I feigned surprise. "Yeah, tight schedule." He sat on the sofa. "Hannah, while I'm gone, you have to take good care of yourself. Don't spend money recklessly. Save where you can." I almost laughed out loud. He was about to take all our money and run, and he had the nerve to tell me not to spend recklessly. "I will," I said, looking down. "Mark, you take care of yourself in Toronto, too." "Of course I will." He took my hand. "When I get back, we'll buy that big house, and then we'll have a baby." "A baby? His baby with Claire?" I just smiled, said nothing. That night, we slept in the same bed. But I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The man beside me was a stranger, a thief, about to abandon me, and I still had to play my part in this twisted charade. The next day, at work, I called the lawyer Kevin recommended. Miss Davis. Professional, reassuring. I told her everything. "Based on what you've described," she said, "your husband has committed adultery and is attempting to transfer marital assets. Your action of moving the money is legally sound as it is marital property, and you have a right to control it." My heart thumped. "So if I file for divorce now, what can I expect?" "First, you can sue for damages due to emotional distress. Second, regarding asset division, if you can prove the majority came from your salary, you can argue for a larger share. Also, if he used marital funds to purchase property abroad, that property is also subject to division." Her words were a lifeline. A path forward. "What documents do I need?" I asked, suddenly feeling a surge of power. "Marriage certificate, social security numbers, evidence of his infidelity, a list of assets, bank statements." I had everything. Kevin's report. My bank's online statements. On my way home, my mom called. "Hannah, I hear Mark is going to Toronto?" "Yes, Mom, company's sending him." I kept my voice calm. "Then what about you? Will you be okay alone?" she worried. "I'll be fine, Mom. I'm a grown woman. But 2 years is a long time. Maybe you should go with him?" "Mom, my job is here. He's going for work, not to live permanently." She sighed. "Well, take care of yourself. Call me if you need anything." I smiled bitterly. How heartbroken she'd be if she knew. But I had no regrets. Better to end a loveless marriage than to suffer. At home, Mark was packing. "Hannah, come see if I've missed anything." I glanced inside his suitcase. "Looks like you have everything." "Great." He zipped it up. "I leave tomorrow. Let's go out for a nice dinner tonight. A little farewell celebration." "Okay." I forced a smile. We went to the fancy restaurant where we had our first date, our anniversaries. He ordered red wine, steak, my favorite tiramisu. "Hannah, it's going to be tough for you these 2 years," he said, raising his glass. "When I get back, I promise I'll make it up to you." I clinked my glass against his. "I'll be waiting." The wine was bittersweet. Sweet on the surface, bitter underneath. "Oh, after I leave," he added. "If you need money for anything, just take it from the joint account. I left plenty in there for you." I almost burst out laughing. There was barely anything left, and he had the nerve to say, "Plenty." "Okay, I will," I said, focusing on my steak. "Hannah." He grabbed my hand suddenly, sincerity shining in his eyes. If I hadn't seen the evidence, I would have believed him. "I know you'll be lonely, but you have to wait for me. We have such a strong relationship. We can get through this. I'll wait for you," I said. We came home late. He'd had a lot to drink, talking endlessly about their future. A bigger house. Maldives honeymoon. A baby. With Claire, of course. I felt nothing but irony. I was just a stepping stone. The morning I took him to the airport, I put on extra makeup, especially dark eyeshadow, to make my crying look convincing. We walked, him pulling his suitcase, me holding his arm. We looked like any other loving couple, playing out a painful farewell. "Hannah, don't cry," he said, wiping my tears. 2 years will be over before you know it." "I know," I sobbed. "I just can't bear to see you go." "Silly girl." He hugged me. "Take care of yourself. I'll call you all the time." I buried my head in his chest, soaking his shirt. "It's time to board." He gave me one last kiss. "Wait for me." "I'll be waiting," I said, a smile that didn't reach my eyes. I stood, watching him disappear. There were so many people around, saying goodbye. Some crying, some laughing. No one knew what the most heartbroken-looking woman among them was really thinking. I wiped my tears and turned away from the gate. In the cab, I checked the time. 1 p.m. The courthouse was open. But I wasn't in a hurry. I went home. I took a long shower, washing off all the makeup, all the pretense. I changed into a clean, simple navy blue dress. Dignified. Proper. I sat at my vanity, looking at my reflection. The naive girl from 5 years ago was gone, replaced by a woman with a determined, steely glint in her eyes. I picked up my phone. Texted Kevin. "Keep an eye on Mark's movements after he lands in Toronto." Reply came quickly. "Understood." Next, I texted Miss Davis. "I'll be at your office at 2 p.m. today." "Sounds good. See you then." With everything arranged, I grabbed my purse. Inside, marriage certificate, ID, bank cards, Kevin's report. All the necessary documents for a war. At 11 a.m. sharp, I left the house. The courthouse wasn't far, a 20-minute walk. I decided to walk. A final stroll to mark the end of this chapter. The streets were busy. No one noticed the woman walking towards the courthouse to end her 5-year marriage. The courthouse lobby was quiet. "Excuse me, I'd like to file for divorce." The clerk looked up. "Is this a contested or uncontested divorce?" "Contested," I said. She handed me a checklist. "You'll need to file a petition with the court first." I paused. I thought I could just file it. I had everything on the list. "Thank you." I turned and left. It seemed I had oversimplified things. Divorce wasn't just saying you wanted one. It was a legal process. I called Miss Davis. "They said I need to file a petition first." "That's correct. Since your husband is out of the country, you can't file for an uncontested divorce." It has to go through litigation. Come to my office this afternoon and we'll go over the strategy. Okay. At 2 p.m., I was in Miss Davis's office. Sharp, competent, in her 40s. Miss Miller, I've reviewed the materials. Your case is a bit complex. First, your husband is abroad, which makes serving him with papers complicated. Second, regarding asset division, we need to investigate the property he purchased overseas. I understand. I nodded. How long will it take? If things go smoothly, about 6 months. If he's uncooperative, longer. I can wait 6 months. Let's start the proceedings now. Very well. She produced a draft petition. I read it. It detailed Mark's wrongdoings, infidelity, asset transfer. It's fine. I signed. We'll file this with the court tomorrow. She added. Also, the matter of you transferring the funds from the joint account. It's best to keep that confidential for now. If he finds out, he might try to take preemptive action. I understand, I said. No one knows about it except you. Leaving the law firm, a sense of relief washed over me. The road was long, but I'd taken the first step. When I got home, I started packing Mark's belongings. Clothes, books, photos. Each item, once a part of my reality, now filled me with disgust. I boxed everything, planning to ship it to his parents. Let them see what kind of son they raised. While I was packing, my phone rang. Mark. I took a deep breath. Hannah, I've landed in Toronto. His voice was excited. Oh, was the flight okay? I kept my voice neutral. It was great. Weather's nice, but the jet lag's tough. How was your day? Did you cry a lot? I'm okay, I said. You should get some rest. Hannah, I love you. I paused, just for a second. Me too. I hung up, stared at the call log, and laughed. He said he loved me. He only loved a naive, gullible woman who would happily hand over her money. He never loved the real me. The next few days, I went to work as usual. At night, I continued clearing his things. Rearranged the furniture, took down all our photos. The apartment slowly transformed into a space that was mine alone. Without his presence, I felt a sense of freedom. 5 days later, Miss Davis called. Miss Miller, the petition has been filed and accepted by the court. That was fast, I said, surprised. Yes, your documentation was very thorough. The process went smoothly. Next, the court will issue a summons for your husband. He'll be required to respond within a specified time. If he fails to respond, the court can issue a default judgment. Okay, I understand. I let out a long breath. Everything was proceeding as planned. That night, Mark video called. On the screen, he was in an unfamiliar room, floor-to-ceiling windows showing a city skyline. Hannah, look, this is my apartment in Toronto, he said, panning the phone around. Nice, right? I sneered internally at the stylish condo. Bought with our money. It's very nice, I said. Are you living there alone? Yep. A 1-bedroom the company arranged for me. He smiled. It's a bit empty, though. It would be perfect if you were here with me. I almost laughed. He was probably living with Claire, still putting on this act. When you come back, we'll be together again, I said. Yeah, I'll miss you. After the call, I sat on the sofa stunned. His acting skills were incredible. If I hadn't seen the proof, I might have been fooled my entire life. A week later, Kevin sent a new report. Photos of Mark and Claire in Toronto. Grocery shopping, cooking, taking walks. They looked like a newlywed couple. There was even a photo of them at a real estate agency. Kevin's note read, they were looking at a house in Vancouver, planning to take out a mortgage in your husband's company's name. I saved all the photos as new evidence. Miss Davis said, with these, we can file a motion to freeze his assets to prevent him from transferring more property. Please do, I said. Don't worry, Miss Miller, she assured me. I will do everything in my power to get you the best possible outcome. Men like your husband need to pay for their actions. I nodded. Yes, he needed to pay. 2 weeks later, Mark received the court summons. That night he called, his voice filled with rage. Hannah, are you insane? Why did you file for divorce? Because I know about you and Claire, I said, my voice calm, steady. Silence on the other end. What? What are you talking about? I don't understand. His voice was now laced with panic. Stop pretending, Mark, I sneered. I know you're not in Toronto for work. You're living with Claire. I know you used our money to buy a condo there, and I know you never planned on coming back. Hannah, listen to me. Let me explain, he pleaded. No more explanations. I cut him off. I filed the papers. I'll see you in court. How dare you? You transferred the money from the joint account, didn't you? That's marital property. You had no right to do that. He finally dropped the act. Most of that money was my salary. What's wrong with me taking it? I retorted. And what about you using marital property to buy a house in another country? Isn't that hiding assets? Mark was silent. Hannah, you'll regret this, he said menacingly. What do you think you're going to get from this divorce? You'll get nothing. We'll see about that, I said and hung up. My hands were trembling, but not from fear. From the exhilarating rush of finally fighting back. In the following days, Mark constantly called and messaged. Begging. Threatening. I ignored. All of it. I focused on work, on the lawsuit. Miss Davis was incredible, helping me gather every piece of evidence: Mark's affair, his asset transfers, my salary records. Miss Miller, you have a very strong case, she assured me. Your husband is clearly at fault and has illegally transferred marital property. The court will almost certainly rule in your favor. Thank you, Miss Davis. You're welcome. This is my job. Stay strong. This will be over soon. I nodded. I had to be strong. I was no longer that naive girl. A month later, the court hearing took place. Mark didn't return. His lawyer represented him. Miss Davis presented all the evidence. Mark's lawyer tried to argue the photos were doctored, the property an investment. But against solid evidence, his arguments crumbled. The judge adjourned the court, promising a verdict later. Walking out, Miss Davis patted my shoulder. You did great, Miss Miller. Now we just wait for the good news. I smiled. Thank you. The day the verdict came was a beautiful sunny day. Miss Davis called. Miss Miller, the judgment is in. The court has ruled in our favor. The divorce is granted. In terms of assets, you are awarded the entire balance of the joint account plus half the value of the property your ex-husband purchased abroad. Furthermore, he has been ordered to pay you $75,000 in damages for emotional distress. I started to cry. Not out of joy, but out of profound, bone-deep relief. I was finally, truly free. Thank you, Miss Davis. Thank you so much, I choked out. You're welcome. You deserve it, she said. Now go live your life. Forget the past and start anew. I will. After hanging up, I sat in my office, looking out at the sky. 5 years of marriage ended. I thought I'd be devastated, but all I felt was release. That night, I went out with my closest friends. Hannah, congratulations on your freedom, Sarah toasted. Thank you guys for being with me through all this. That scumbag got what he deserved, Emily said angrily. After everything you did, he betrayed you like that. Let's let the past be the past. I smiled. From now on, I'm going to live for myself. Not waste any more time on people who aren't worth it. That's right, Sarah cheered. Here's to Hannah's new life. We clinked our glasses. Life after the divorce was different from what I imagined. I thought I'd be sad, crying myself to sleep. Instead, I felt liberated. No more worrying about when he'd come home. No more walking on eggshells. No more handing over my entire paycheck. I completely redesigned my life. First, I redecorated the condo, purging anything that reminded me of Mark. New furniture, painted walls. Fresh, new, just like me. Then, I signed up for a yoga class. Every day after work. Great for my body, my mind. I learned to cook different cuisines. When Mark was around, it was always the American comfort food he liked. Now, I could make whatever I wanted. I started traveling. Packed a bag, went to all the places I'd always dreamed of. I met interesting people, heard fascinating stories. The world was so much bigger than my failed marriage. So many other things worth pursuing. 6 months later, Mark's mother found me. "Hannah, can you please forgive Mark? He knows he was wrong." Her eyes were red. I gently pulled my hand away. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Evans, I can't. But you were married for 5 years. Such a deep connection. How can you just end it?" she pleaded. "A relationship can't be sustained by one person's effort alone," I said calmly. "Mark cheated on me. That's a fact. I can't forgive him. He was just confused. Seduced by that harlot," she agitated. "He's already broken up with her. He wants to come back to you." I laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "He broke up with her. Is that because the court ordered him to pay me and now he's broke?" Her face paled. "I know you're hurting, and I pity your son. But please try to understand my position. Mark and I are divorced. We are not getting back together. Please don't come looking for me again." I turned and walked away. I could hear her sobbing, but I didn't look back. I knew I was being cold, but I didn't regret it. I gave Mark his chance. He threw it away. A few months later, I met Ben Carter at work. New manager in marketing. A couple of years older, mature, stable, charming. We connected over a project. He was so kind, always helping me. One day, he asked me to dinner. "Hannah, I heard you're divorced." I was taken aback, but nodded. "Yes. Are you seeing anyone?" he asked, looking directly into my eyes. I shook my head. "No." "Then can I have the chance to ask you out?" he said earnestly. "I know this might be too soon, but I really like you. I like your independence, your strength, your kindness. I want to take care of you, protect you, and give you a warm home." I looked into his sincere eyes, feeling a stir in my heart. But I still shook my head. "I'm sorry, Ben. I'm not ready for a new relationship right now." "I understand," he said. "Then I'll wait. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait." That night, on my balcony, looking at the stars, I wondered. Maybe one day I would believe in love again. But for now, I just wanted to love myself. A year later, the court judgment was fully enforced. Mark paid the damages, transferred the cash equivalent of his half of the Toronto property. With the $650,000 from the joint account, I now had nearly $1 million in savings. More than enough for a comfortable life. I used some of it to open a small coffee shop downstairs from my building. Cozy, welcoming. Every morning, I brewed coffee for my customers. In the afternoons, I'd read by the window. Life became simple, beautiful. One day, Sarah came in. "Hannah, you look genuinely happy now." "Do I?" I smiled. "I feel it too. Do you ever regret it?" she asked suddenly. I thought for a moment, then shook my head. "No regrets. That marriage brought me a lot of pain, but it also made me grow. I learned to protect myself, not to trust blindly, and most importantly, to love myself. Will you ever trust in love again?" I looked at the sunlight streaming through the window and smiled. "Yes, but next time I'll be more cautious, more rational. I'll never again give up myself for the sake of love." Sarah nodded. "You've changed for the better." Yes, I had. I was no longer the naive, easily deceived girl. I had become an independent, strong woman who knew what she wanted. 2 years later, one afternoon, a familiar figure walked into my coffee shop. Mark. He looked haggard, streaks of gray in his hair. "Hannah," he said, my name sounding strange on his lips. I looked at him calmly. "What are you doing here?" I wanted to apologize," he stammered. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't say anything, just looked at him. I know I did a lot of terrible things. I hurt you, he continued. I regret it so much now, but I know it's too late. I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry. Okay, I heard you, I said. Is there anything else? He was taken aback. Shook his head. Then please leave, I said, pointing to the door. He looked at me, his eyes filled with bitterness. Hannah, do you really not hate me at all? I thought for a moment. I used to hate you. So much. I wanted revenge. But I don't hate you anymore. I realized hating someone is exhausting. You're not worth it. Are you happy now? He asked. Very happy. I smiled. Happier than I ever was with you. That sentence was like a dagger to his heart. He gave a bitter laugh, turned, and left. Watching his retreating back, I finally realized the man I once loved so desperately was now just a stranger to me. Time is a wonderful thing. It heals all wounds. Now my days are full and peaceful. Yoga, leisurely breakfast, opening the coffee shop. Reading psychology books by the window. Dinners with friends, movie nights. Hiking, visiting art museums on weekends. Life is quiet, but it's beautiful. Most importantly, I found myself again. I don't need to depend on anyone. I can live my life independently on my own terms. 6 months ago, Ben asked me out again. Hannah, I've waited 2 years for you, he said. I know you've been through a lot, and I'm not rushing you, but I want you to know that I'm still here, waiting. In that moment, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could give him a chance. Ben, I said, I'm willing to try. He was ecstatic, hugging me tightly. Really? Really? I smiled. But I have to be honest. I'm not sure if I love you yet. I'm just willing to give us a chance. That's enough. That's more than enough, he said. I'll show you with my actions that I'm worthy of your love. We've been together for 3 months now. He's wonderful. Gentle, considerate, supportive. He respects my opinions, supports my career, never pressures me. Being with him feels comfortable, liberating. Maybe this is what real love feels like. Not a whirlwind of passion, but a steady stream. Not possession, but respect. Not confinement, but freedom. I don't know what our future holds, but I'm willing to try. Because I believe that as long as I love myself enough, as long as I'm independent and strong, I won't be hurt again. A few days ago, an old acquaintance messaged me. Mark and Claire broke up. She left him when she found out he was broke. He's alone in Toronto, struggling. He asked if I could lend him money. I looked at the message and smiled. I replied, I'm sorry. I can't help you. Then I blocked the number. Not because I'm heartless, but because his problems are his own making. When he betrayed me, lied to me, hurt me, did he ever consider my feelings? Now that he's down on his luck, he remembers me? Sorry. I'm not a recycling bin for emotional baggage. I just want to love myself and live my life. Last week, at a college reunion, everyone caught up. Promotions, second kids, divorces. When it was my turn, I said, I'm divorced. I own a coffee shop. I have a new boyfriend, and I'm very happy. Everyone was surprised, congratulating me. Hannah, you don't regret getting divorced? A classmate asked. After 5 years? I shook my head. No regrets. If I hadn't, I might have spent my whole life living a lie. The divorce was painful, but it allowed me to find myself again. You're so brave, another said. A lot of women would have just put up with it. I didn't have children then, so the choice was easier, I explained. And I believe an unhappy family is more damaging to a child anyway. Everyone nodded in agreement. That night, after a bit to drink, I stood on my balcony, looking at the city lights. I thought about myself 3 years ago. The woman who tearfully saw her husband off at the airport. Back then, I thought my world was ending. But here I am now, living better than ever before. I proved that a woman doesn't need anyone to live a wonderful life. Today, a special customer came into the coffee shop. A young girl, early 20s, quietly crying in a corner. I walked over. "Do you need a tissue?" She looked up red-eyed. "Thank you." I handed her one and sat across from her. "If you don't mind, would you like to talk about it?" She hesitated, then nodded. She just found out her boyfriend was cheating. She didn't know what to do. Forgive him? Break up? He said it was a one-time mistake, that he still loves me. She cried. But I feel so hurt, so confused. Looking at her, I saw myself 3 years ago. "Listen to me," I said earnestly. "There's no such thing as just once when it comes to cheating. It's either 0 times or countless times. If you forgive him this time, he'll do it again. And someone who truly loves you would never hurt you like this. But we've been together for 3 years. I don't want to throw it all away," she sobbed. 3 years is a long time, I said. But if that relationship is causing you pain, it's not worth holding on to. You have to learn to love yourself, to respect yourself. Don't waste your youth on someone who doesn't deserve it. She looked at me, tears glistening. "You're right. I know what I have to do." I smiled. "Good for you. You'll meet someone better." Watching her walk away, I suddenly felt that my experience could help others. Perhaps that's the meaning of pain. It makes us grow, and it enables us to help others grow too. 3 months later, I was closing the register at the coffee shop when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Am I speaking with Miss Hannah Miller?" "Yes, this is she. This is Officer Chen from the Toronto Police Service. We need to inform you of a situation regarding your ex-husband, Mr. Mark Evans." My heart skipped a beat. "What's wrong?" "Mr. Evans has been arrested for investment fraud and embezzlement," the officer said. "He's been running a Ponzi scheme for several years, exceeding 20 million Canadian dollars. I was stunned. "Furthermore," the officer continued, "before his arrest, he left a letter to be delivered to you. In it, he states that a portion of the money he used to purchase the property in Canada came from these illegal funds. The Crown is now seizing these assets, which may involve you." My hand holding the phone trembled. "Also," the officer paused, "Mr. Evans stated that he never loved you, that he married you solely for—" The voice kept talking, but I couldn't hear it anymore. I looked at my phone. Another call. "Ben." I hesitated for a second, told the officer, "I understand," and hung up. But just as I was about to answer Ben's call, the coffee shop door burst open. A strange man rushed in, staring at me. "Hannah Miller! I'm one of Mark Evans's creditors. You have to pay back his debt." I forced myself to remain calm. The few remaining customers looked startled. "Sir, please calm down," I said, my voice as steady as I could make it. "Mark and I are divorced. His debts are not my responsibility." "Not your responsibility?" the man scoffed. "You were his wife. Don't you know about marital debt? Mark owes me $5 million. You have to pay it back. I need to see a promissory note," I said, "and proof that this debt was incurred during our marriage and was used for our shared living expenses. Otherwise, I have no obligation to repay this debt." The man was taken aback, clearly not expecting this. Just then, Ben rushed in. He must have been worried when I didn't answer. "Hannah, are you okay?" he said, stepping in front of me, shielding me. "Sir, whatever the issue is, we can discuss it calmly." "Who are you?" the man asked, bristling. "I'm Hannah's boyfriend," Ben said. "Regarding the debt you mentioned, we can resolve it through legal channels. If you continue to cause a scene, I will call the police." The man looked at us, then at the other customers. Finally, he snorted. "Fine, we'll see you in court." He turned and left. Ben closed the door and wrapped his arms around me. "You must have been terrified." I leaned into his embrace, my heart pounding. I'd put on a brave face, but I was actually scared. "I'm so glad you're here," I whispered. "Silly girl, I told you I would protect you," he said, gently patting my back. What was that about a debt? I told him about the police call. Ben's brows furrowed. That bastard, Mark? What else has he done? I had no idea. I sighed. I thought after the divorce, I would be done with him. I never expected all this. Don't worry, Ben said. I'll go with you to see your lawyer tomorrow. You're divorced, and your assets have been legally divided. His criminal activities and debts in Canada have nothing to do with you. I nodded, but a sense of unease lingered. That night I couldn't sleep. The officer's words echoed. Mr. Evans stated that he never loved you, that he married you solely for. For what? To steal my money? Or was there another motive? I suddenly realized that from the very beginning, I might have been just a pawn in his elaborate game. The next day, Ben accompanied me to see Miss Davis. After hearing the whole story, she let out a sigh of relief. Miss Miller, you don't need to worry too much. First, you and Mr. Evans are divorced, and your assets have been legally divided. Second, any debt incurred by one spouse in their own name that isn't for the family's daily needs is not considered joint marital debt, unless the creditor can prove the debt was used for shared living or business, or mutual consent. What about the $5 million that man mentioned? I asked. He needs to provide evidence that the debt was incurred during your marriage and used for your shared life, Miss Davis said. From his reaction, he probably can't produce such evidence. And what about what the police said, that some of the money Mark used to buy the condo in Canada was from his illegal activities? That property was already divided in the divorce settlement, with half awarded to you, Miss Davis confirmed, reviewing the judgment. If the police want to seize it, they need to prove you were aware of and participated in the illegal activities. Otherwise, as a good faith third party, your share is protected by law. A true sense of relief finally washed over me. However, Miss Davis added, you should still be prepared. Mr. Evans's case is serious, and there may be other creditors. Keep all your documents, divorce decree, property settlement. If anyone harasses you, call the police immediately. I nodded. I understand. Thank you, Miss Davis. Walking out, Ben held my hand. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I looked at him, a wave of warmth washing over me. In the following weeks, more people came to my door, claiming to be Mark's creditors. Some had promissory notes, others bank records. All demanded I pay. Following Miss Davis's advice, I asked for proof the debt was incurred during our marriage and used for our shared life. Not a single one could. Most loans were made after our divorce, some promissory notes were obvious forgeries. I documented everything and handed it to Miss Davis, but the trouble still took its toll. The coffee shop suffered, people were scared away. My mood plummeted. I was constantly on edge. Ben saw my distress, and his heart broke for me. Hannah, why don't we move the shop? Or close it for a while, take a break? I shook my head. No. I can't let Mark's mess ruin my life. I worked so hard to get where I am. I can't give up. No buts. He hurt me once. I won't let him destroy what I have now. Ben looked at me, his eyes full of admiration. Okay. I support you. But promise me if you run into any trouble you can't handle, you'll tell me. I promise. A month later, a breakthrough. News from the Canadian police. Mark's case was clear. Guilty of large-scale fraud and embezzlement, facing severe criminal penalties. The police also confirmed I was unaware of his illegal activities, in fact, one of his victims. Therefore, the assets awarded to me in the divorce settlement would not be seized. Hearing this, I finally breathed a sigh of deep, cleansing relief. Miss Davis also resolved the creditor issues. All debts were confirmed as Mark's personal debts, nothing to do with me. Gradually, the troublemakers stopped. Business at the coffee shop returned to normal. My life was finally getting back on track. But I knew this experience had taught me a profound lesson. I thought a divorce would be a clean break, but a person's past always finds ways to affect their present. I needed to be more careful, more vigilant. That night, the Toronto police called again. Miss Miller, Mr. Evans would like to say something to you. Are you willing to listen? I hesitated. Okay. Mark's voice came on the line, weak and frail. Hannah, go on. I'm listening, I said calmly. I'm sorry, he said. I know I wronged you. I did so many terrible things. I remained silent. The truth is, I married you with an ulterior motive from the start. His voice filled with regret. I saw how naive and kind you were, and I saw your steady income. I wanted to use you to take your money for my investments, for my business. My heart felt a sharp prick. I had suspected it, but hearing him admit it still hurt. I thought I could succeed, he said. I thought I could make a lot of money and then give you a better life. But I was wrong. I was too greedy. I shouldn't have gotten involved in illegal fundraising. I shouldn't have cheated so many people. And what about Claire? I asked. Claire? He gave a bitter laugh. She was a victim, too. She thought I was rich. She was with me for the money. When she found out I was a fraud, she left. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath. Hannah, I know saying sorry is useless now, he said. I just wanted to tell you that during our 5 years together, even though I started with a motive, later on I really did love you, but I was too greedy, too foolish, and I destroyed everything. I opened my eyes. My voice was steady. Mark, you know what I hate the most? It's not that you stole my money. It's that you played with my feelings. For 5 years I treated you as the most important person in my life. I trusted you, depended on you, loved you. And what about you? You treated me like a tool, a pawn to be used. I know. His voice was filled with pain. But I also have to thank you, I said. Thank you for showing me your true colors, for letting me cut my losses in time. If it weren't for you, I might have spent my whole life as that naive, easily deceived girl. Hannah, this is the last time we will speak. I cut him off. From now on, we go our separate ways. I hope you reflect on your actions in prison and become a better person. With that, I hung up. After the call, I sat on the sofa, dazed. Ben came and sat next to me. Are you still sad? I shook my head. Not sad. Just a little regretful. Regretful about what? Regretful for those 5 years. Regretful that I once loved someone so unworthy, I said. But I don't regret the experience. It made me grow. It made me stronger. Ben took my hand. You know what I admire most about you, Hannah? It's your resilience. You've been through so much pain, but you haven't let it break you. Instead, you've become more independent, more courageous. I looked at him, a wave of warmth spreading through my heart. Ben, thank you for being by my side through all this, I said. I don't think I could have gotten through it without you. Silly girl. We're a couple. That's what I'm here for, he said. And I should be thanking you for giving me the chance to take care of you, to love you. That night, we talked for a long time. Past, present, future. Ben said he wanted to marry me, to give me a home. I told him I was willing, but I needed time. I needed to be sure he truly loved me, not just pitied me or wanted to save me. He understood. He would wait. No matter how long. In that moment, I finally understood what true love was. Not a passionate storm, but a steady, gentle stream. Not possession and control, but respect and understanding. Not demanding someone change, but embracing them for who they are. 6 months later, business at the coffee shop was booming. I hired 2 employees, Chloe, a recent graduate, and Maria, a hard-working woman in her 40s. With their help, my life became much easier. I had more time for myself. I signed up for a photography class, discovering the joy of capturing life through a lens. I started writing, sharing my experiences with lifestyle magazines. To my surprise, some articles were published, and I received many letters from readers. Many had similar experiences, hurt in their marriages, unsure what to do. I replied to every one, encouraging them to be brave, to make their own choices. I told them a woman doesn't need anyone to live a wonderful life. Leaving someone who doesn't love you isn't a failure, but a rebirth. To find true happiness, you must first love and respect yourself. Last winter, Ben proposed to me. On a Chicago beach, cold and biting, but my heart was warm. We walked along the shore, our footprints appearing and disappearing with the waves. Hannah? Ben stopped, turned to me. I have something to tell you. What is it? He got down on one knee, pulled a small box from his pocket, revealing a diamond ring. Hannah Miller, will you marry me? He asked, looking into my eyes. I know you've been through a painful marriage, and I know you're afraid, but I want you to know that I'm not Mark. I will spend my whole life loving you, protecting you, and making you happy. I will never lie to you, never betray you, never hurt you. I just want to walk through the rest of my life with you. I looked at him, tears streaming down my face. Ben, I choked. If you're not ready, I can wait, he said. No matter how long, I'll wait. I shook my head, smiling through my tears. No need to wait. I'm ready. He stood up, slipped the ring onto my finger, and pulled me into a tight embrace. The wind howled, the waves crashed. But we held each other like two trees intertwined, never to be separated again. Our wedding was simple. Only closest family and friends. No lavish venue, no expensive dress, just sincere blessings. My mom held my hand, eyes filled with happy tears. Hannah, I'm so happy to finally see you happy. I am happy, Mom. Ben is a good man. You have to cherish him. I will. At the wedding, Ben said, Hannah, thank you for marrying me. I promise I will spend my whole life loving you and making you the happiest woman in the world. I looked at him, my heart full of love. I knew this time, I had chosen right. Married life is peaceful and happy. Ben is thoughtful and caring. He'll give me a massage, cook dinner, make me laugh. He respects my career, supports my dreams. He never asked me to give up the coffee shop. In fact, he often comes to help out. We run it together, plan our future together. This spring, I found out I was pregnant. Both excited and nervous. Excited for a child of my own, nervous about being a good mother. Ben was even more excited. Walks, nutritious meals, stacks of parenting books. Hannah, who do you think the baby will look like? He'd ask. Of course, they'll look like you. I'd laugh. I hope it's a boy, handsome like you. I hope it's a girl, beautiful like you. He'd say. We dreamed about our future, our little family. The pregnancy was tough, but I was happy. This child was conceived in love, a symbol of my love with Ben. During my 5th month, a special letter arrived. From Mark's mother. She apologized. For not raising her son well, for causing me so much pain. She said Mark was behaving in prison, working to reform himself. He wanted her to tell me he sincerely wished me happiness. Reading it, I felt a mix of emotions. I didn't hate his mother. She was a victim too. I wrote back, telling her I had forgiven everything, that I was very happy, and she shouldn't blame herself. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn. I hoped Mark would reflect and start a new life. After writing, a weight lifted. I had truly let go of the past. Forgiven Mark. Forgiven myself. Last fall, our baby was born. A beautiful girl. We named her Clara. I want her to grow up in a world of love, to have a peaceful, happy life. Looking at her in my arms, I thought about the girl I used to be. Naive, easily deceived. I had to go through so much pain to become the woman I am today. I will share my experiences with my daughter. I will teach her to protect herself, to love herself, to tell right from wrong. I will let her know that a woman can be gentle, but not weak. Kind, but not foolish. Loving, but she must first love herself. Now, my life is full and happy. I wake up, care for Clara. When she's asleep, I go to the coffee shop. Even with a child, I haven't given up my career. Ben is incredibly supportive. He always says a woman shouldn't have to give up her dreams just because she gets married and has children. Afternoons, I take Clara to the park. Evenings, the three of us have dinner, talk about our day. This quiet life is everything I ever dreamed of. Last month, the coffee shop hosted a special event. I invited women who had gone through similar experiences. Some recently divorced, still struggling. Some hesitating, unsure if they should leave. Some had moved on, started new lives. I shared my story. I told them that leaving someone who doesn't love you isn't a failure, but a rebirth. I know it's painful. I know you're lost right now, I said. But please believe me, the pain is temporary. If you take that brave step, you'll find a wonderful world waiting for you. But I'm scared, a young woman said. I'm scared of being alone. Being alone is better than being in an unhappy marriage, I told her. And who says being divorced means being alone? You can have your friends, your career, your own life, and you can find love again with someone who truly loves you. Are you happy now? Another woman asked. I looked over at Ben, standing by the door, holding our daughter, smiling at me. Very happy, I said with a smile. Happier than I ever imagined. After the event, many people thanked me. They said my story gave them courage, hope, made them believe a woman can live a wonderful life without depending on anyone. I was glad my experience could help others. Perhaps that is the meaning of pain. It makes us grow, and it enables us to help others grow. This year marks the 5th anniversary of my divorce. In these 5 years, I've been through so much. I've grown from a dependent woman into an independent, strong one. From a broken victim to a guide for others. From a hopeless divorcee to a wife and mother in a happy family. And it's all thanks to that one brave decision I made. If I hadn't decisively transferred the money and filed for divorce after seeing Mark off at the airport, I might still be living a lie, waiting for a man who would never come back. Last week, I attended a seminar on women's independence and growth. The speaker, a well-known female author, shared many stories of empowerment. I felt deeply moved. I raised my hand. I'd like to share my story, I said. 5 years ago, I got divorced. At the time, everyone said I was foolish, impulsive, that I would regret it. But today, 5 years later, I can proudly say that I have no regrets. Getting divorced was the best decision I ever made. The audience applauded. Divorce allowed me to find myself again, I continued. In my marriage, I lost myself, my dreams, my ability to think independently. I gave everything to my husband, thinking that was love. But I learned that a love where you lose yourself has no foundation. So I want to tell all the women out there, whether you're single, in a relationship, or married, remember to never lose yourself. You can love someone, but you must first love yourself. You can give to someone, but never lose your identity. Because only when you are strong and independent can you find true happiness. The room erupted in another round of applause. Afterward, many people came up, wanting to hear more. I was happy to share. I hope my experience can help more women learn to love, respect, and protect themselves. Last night, my daughter said, "Mama," for the very first time. I cried with joy. I held her close, whispering in my heart, "My baby, Mama will always love you and protect you. I will raise you in a world of love, and you will grow up to be an independent, strong, and kind girl." Ben came over and wrapped his arms around us. "We'll protect her together." I leaned against his shoulder, looking at my daughter, my heart overflowing with happiness. This is the life I've always wanted. A loving husband, a beautiful daughter, my own career, and my own friends. I no longer need to depend on anyone. I can live my life independently and face the world on my own terms. This story is over. But it's just the beginning of my new life. Have you ever faced something like this? A betrayal that rocked your world, but ultimately led you to find your own strength. Or maybe you're in a situation right now where you need to find that courage? Please tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories. Music swells, then fades out.